All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is my first time, my first podcast, and I hope everybody's going to enjoy this show. I got a very special guest on, and yeah, let me introduce you guys to Cheng Yang, and
Hey,
he's
what's
from
up?
hometown Michigan, and I'm gonna let
Yep.
him introduce himself to you guys, and we're gonna get this rolling, guys, because we got a great topic on about basketball in the Hmong community and just basketball in general. So, Che, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, as my boy B was saying, very honored to be one of his first guests on his podcast. Chang Yang, I'm from Lansing, Michigan. Originally born in Laos, came over to Missouri, and then found our way to Lansing, Michigan. So I grew up there some 35, 38 years. Yeah,
Absolutely. Now, Cheng, man, how you been, man? I mean, it's been a long time since we see each other.
I,
I I
I'm
think
good.
I
I'm
think
good.
last time we spoke to each other was at a wedding in Georgia, probably what,
Yeah,
five
yeah,
years
it
ago,
was a
6 years ago?
Mikey's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout
that
out
was
to
about
Mikey and
5, 6.
Christina.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. But I'm doing good. Trying to stay in shape, ready to play in the 50 and over b-ball league if they have one.
Hey, you look good, man. I tell you what, man. Age to you don't matter. You look good. I think I look older than you, man, for some odd reason.
Oh, oh, thanks, bro, man.
No,
Thanks.
but let's get into it, man.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like man, you're one of the I don't to be honest, I feel like you're like one of the standing points in the Hmong community. I feel like you was one of the first person that I ever met or saw play basketball like legit. And
Okay.
I think my first time I saw you was when you guys came down to Howardell and Pontiac and played in our bootleg basketball tournament. And
Mm,
I saw you for the first time. I saw the team for the first time, and I'm like, man, who are these guys? I'm young. I'm like 16 years old. I just started playing basketball competitively, right? And when I saw you guys for the first time, I was like, man, who are these guys? And when you guys got on the court, I was like, man,
yeah, I remember that tournament. That was like a high school gym, right?
yeah, it wasn't a high school gym. It was like a recreational basketball gym.
Oh, that's the one with like the floor wasn't wood. It was like some
It
mesh
was
thing,
like
right? Or something.
clay or something like that.
Okay. Yep. Yep. I remember that tournament.
No, no. Let me ask you, man. How did you get into basketball?
Man, I got into basketball at a very early age because of basically where I grew up. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood on the south side of Rio, and we lived in the apartments where the Boys and Girls Club was. Small Boys and Girls Club, and basically that was my community gym, and that's where I learned the ball. That's where I was coached by one of my first coaches. His name was Bruce Daggy. I'll never forget him. He was a big Indiana Hoosier fan. So he's all about fundamentals, man. He looked like a Hoosier. Red beard, red hair,
Yeah, yeah.
short, had a jumper. But him and Magic's uncle, Jim Porter, they were my first coaches. And they were kind of the foundation of really teaching me about um, the IQ of basketball, teaching me the ins and outs and how to really be a student of the game and not just be about, a scorer. And they really taught me all my fundamentals growing up. And those are things that I've carried with me even to this day. But, growing up in that neighborhood, all my black friends, all they did was play ball. Summertime, there's two courts, you just go ball. One court is for kids, one court is for the adults. And once your skill level got good enough, then you go ball with the adults.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And growing up in that hood, I mean, there was very talented players. I mean, players to this day that I like borrowed some of their tricks of the trade. Some of their the things that made them successful as a street baller. And those are little things that I I kind of added to my game as I was playing, and my skills got better.
Okay. Okay. And now, how old was you when you first started? When you first
I
touched the
was
basketball, how old was
I was only like 5 or 6, man.
you? Okay.
I was only like 5 or 6, and we just dribble. And then when I was about 7 or 8, again, that's all we played. And as you keep playing, you get better. All your
Absolutely.
friends play. We played 21 was the game back then, right? Everybody played 21, and you test your skills, and you just get better. And that competitiveness, and growing up with 5 brothers and being around 10 different friends, that's all we played. Any sport, that
Now,
competitive drive.
now being a predominant black neighborhood, when you went out there and all these people, they're like, "Oh man, who's this Asian kid?"
Hmm.
What was it like? Like, did you get? I mean, when you got on that basketball court, was it like you had a demand for the basketball? Did you have to
No,
earn your respect?
I did. I think early on, a lot of people that grew up in the hood kind of knew me, but even then, you had to really show that you could ball to even be on the adult court.
Yeah.
And there was one gentleman, I'll never forget him because he's the guy that actually kind of took me under his wings. His name was Tim Richardson. And he was so fast, we nicknamed him Cat because he'd steal the ball from you. No matter if he could see it, he was gonna take it.
Right.
So we nicknamed him Cat. Well, as my skills started getting better, he noticed it, and he actually played ball for Lansing Everett, my alma mater high school. So Cat would always be like, Chang, yo, come run with me with the big boys. And I'd be like, oh, I ain't ready yet. And he'd be like, just just get on the court, man. I know you 3 years younger, but just get on the court and run. And
Yeah.
so he would
Yeah.
encourage me to run with him. And he'd spot me up, but Cat was like, Cat, I'll give you a description of Cat. Cat was like a Michael Jordan combined with Kevin McHale moves and a Larry Bird jump shot.
Okay.
That,
Okay.
that was that was Cat.
Wow. That's a good combination, man. Well, and by this time, I mean, you in middle school playing against these adults, or
Yeah. This I'm about 15, 16, and what really drove me, to be honest, a lot of people, we all have go idols like Michael Jordan and mentors who we really look up to, but who really pushed me was my older brother, second older brother, Pong.
okay,
Shalong. Man, not a lot of people know, but he had polio since birth, and he used to kick my butt in basketball, man. We would play one on one from, when I was 14, 15, and he would just eat me alive, man. And it wasn't until I was about 16 and 17 with my height and speed and skill really picked up that, man, I actually beat him for the first time. And
yeah,
I and I and
yeah,
I felt like that was a championship game.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I conquered everything,
yeah.
And when I beat him, I felt like, man, I could beat anybody, you know.
But hey, that's great, man. When you have an older brother like that can push you to the limit, that's
Yeah.
always a positive end of it because you know what, a lot of us, a lot of let's put it this way, a lot of kids don't grow up with an older brother or older sister, so everything is like self taught, right?
Yeah,
And then
or a coach, right?
yeah,
A
or you're
coach
getting coached,
mentors
right?
you.
But when
Yeah.
you're having somebody like a family member there and they're always pushing to the limit, because they can say personal things to you and you don't take it
Yeah.
personal, right?
Yeah.
Versus somebody else, they might say something that you might take personal, but you know that it's your brother.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna push, you're gonna do what you can to get better at
Yeah.
what you do. So
Well, yeah, and just a quick note, my older brother, man, he saw the talent in me that at the time I didn't, I'll be honest with you. And so that's why he really pushed me. And then again, once Tim Cat, the guy in my neighborhood, he saw the talent and he was seeing it. So I would start running with the big dogs on the big court, and that's what really um, that's where I would say I got my swag from. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
if I didn't grow up in that neighborhood in that environment, I don't think I would have the swag that I have now as a basketball
Yeah.
player.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you this: what was some of your motivation as a youth? I mean, you took basketball pretty serious.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. As a youth, and I want, and maybe I'll send it to you. But when I was a seventh grader, I always dreamed about playing in the NBA. Once I knew basketball was a sport I really could do well and thrive at, and so I was like student of the month in my middle school, right?
yeah.
And one of the questions they asked was like, "Hey, where do you see yourself in 20 years?" And I was like, "I see myself married, two kids, son and daughter, and playing professional basketball in the NBA." And then the thing is, like, when I said it, it's one of the things where, like, I believed I could do it, that
Right.
that my skill was good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I feel watching you play over the years. And let's not take anything away from the kids today because we have a lot of talented kids today.
Oh yeah.
We have a
For
lot of
sure.
talent. But I think growing up in the early '90s and the late '90s, right? I mean, me and you could both agree that most of our parents they don't want us to play sports, right? Because they want education first. And of course,
Yep.
that I mean, of course, that's what it is, right? It's all about having a better future, a better life in the future, right? But the one thing that intrigued me the most, man, your family has been your biggest support, especially your dad. I
Oh
think I've seen
yeah.
your dad in a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of these tournaments. I've seen your dad in a lot of
Uh,
tournaments. And explain to me how much support does your family have given you growing up playing basketball?
oh yeah. That, and I'll add even a little bit more to that. Not just basketball, but everything in general, like soccer, New Year's events. But basketball specifically, man, my dad used to drive me to practice every day, and I had two of my teammates in my neighborhood, and my dad, we would give them a lift every day. So um, took me to practice every day, every tournament. Um, I mean, my dad was there, and he loved sports in general because he was a
Yeah.
big Detroit Pistons fan
Okay.
growing up.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so my dad loved basketball and sports in general.
Man, that's great, man. That's great, man. When I see your dad around and me growing up watching you guys, I saw your dad show up to the event. At first, I was like, man, who is this short guy, this old short guy? But then I start to see the resemblance between your dad and you guys, all your brothers and you guys. And I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
that's got to be their dad. And, that shows a lot of respect and love because, you know, I love my dad too. I love my parents, but I never really had that support. So seeing your dad support you guys, I think it gave a lot of people hope that they can do it too. So
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think with today's times, a lot of, even back then, there were a lot of talented kids that just didn't get the support from, whether it's family or parents, or mentors that help guide them the right path. And these days there's still a lot of talented kids that don't get the right mentorship or support
I
you
agree.
know
I agree. I agree. Now here's the thing, man. So now you're in high school, right? So middle school is over. You're in high school now. How was it? I mean, did you
High
was
school was,
you tried out for the basketball team? You tried out for
yeah,
freshman,
yeah,
JV.
yeah.
How did all
So
how did all go?
I was known as a scorer in the hood, right? When I played ball, I was known as a scorer. And so my mindset was, I want to be a small forward and just get 20 points a game, right? That was my mindset. I just want to be an offensive assassin, right? So try out for the team freshman year. Um, my coach, Coach Argo, freshman year, he was like, Cheng, I know you really want to play small forward, but with your height, your ball skill, and court vision, I think you'd be better suited at point guard.
Okay.
And when he approached me with that, I was kind of bummed about it, right? Because I always had this envision that I was like, I love Dominique growing up,
Yeah.
Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah.
And so that's what I envisioned myself as, power forward, small forward, whatever it be, but a scoring threat. So when my coach approached me with being point guard, I wasn't closed minded to it, but at the same time, I was like, hey, if that's what he needs out of me,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, man. At the end of the season, I was talking to my coach, and I said, you know what, coach? Remember when you asked me to play point guard at the beginning of the season? He's like, yeah. I go, that was the best decision. That was the best advice you gave me, man, because I thrived at point guard.
Yeah. Yeah. Did that kind of like help you a little bit with handles and eye vision?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, again, growing up in the environment I grew up in, you couldn't play street ball if you didn't have handles.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I was like, I would practice like this, be uh 9 in the morning till noon. I'd go out and work on my dribbling, shooting, free throws, moves, and I'd be out there by myself on the court for 3 hours. The
Yeah.
only reason I left the court is my mom was like, it's time to eat, right? So
Yeah.
I'd come home and eat. And then evening come, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, that's when the brothers start showing up at the court. Go outside, ball for another 2, 3 hours. So that was my routine. My thought was I want to practice my skills so that when I'm ready in the pickup ball or um, high school or organized ball, that my skills are ready at all time.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, man. Because we watch street ball, and it's physical out there. I'm talking about there's no foul
Hmm.
calling, right? Everybody's physical. I think that's a great way to compare it, man, because it
I
really
mean,
prepares you for a little bit more organized basketball.
yeah, I mean, there was fouls, but there was BS fouls called and things like that in the hood. I
Hmm.
mean, cats, and the funny thing was they used to know that I would never lie. So anytime like a ball went out of bounds off somebody or something, and I'm just a bystander courtside, all the brothers would be like, "Hey, ask Cheng, man, because he don't never lie."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it
Okay,
used
I
to be
can see
so
that.
funny,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, man, I really growing up in the hood improves your skill, and like you said, being asked to play point guard, that's when you really understand that, hey, now my handles has to be even more, on point if I'm going to run point guard. And it's a predominantly black basketball conference, that
Right.
we played in.
Right. So now at this point, you're playing basketball JV. Um, Now you're moving on from sophomore to junior year. What did you jump into varsity in an early age or?
No, we had a lot of talent on varsity. When I was a sophomore, junior, we had a lot of talent. There was one guy on my squad that was talented enough, and they'd pull him up every now and then for like the tournament. But when I was growing up, man, there was a lot of animosity because it was a predominantly black school. So you got an Asian dude playing point guard at Magic Johnson's high school, Everett High School in Lansing. There's a lot of animosity, unfortunately, and even from freshman year to my senior year, that never really went away, and no matter how much I proved myself, and no matter how much respect I gained, there was still a lot of animosity even up until my senior year
Oh
about
yeah, oh yeah,
teammates feeling like they should be starting over me, and there'll be some bickering, but all I would say is, hey, I don't make the choices, man. The coach decide who run point.
yeah. I
So if
mean,
he
you
feel
you
you
out
better,
there,
yeah. And
you out
I'd
there
say, hey,
busting your butt off. Yeah.
yeah, and I'd be like, hey, if he feel you better than me, then he'd start you.
Hmm.
But in my mind, they don't realize where I grew up and how I balled.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it's like, man, this is organized ball. One on one, I eat you alive, boy.
Yeah. I mean, that's some great confidence because a lot of younger kids today, they don't have that confidence. And I mean, like a lot of Hmong kids, especially Hmong kids, they have talent, but
Yeah,
their
yeah.
mindset, they seem like, okay, I'm good enough to play, but they don't have that confident enough to say, hey, I am good enough to play. And they don't,
I,
and you don't even really have to verbally say it, because you can really just show your skills to the coaches. Like you said, you made a
yeah.
good point. You don't make those decisions. You
Yep.
just work hard enough,
I just play.
put yourself
Hmm.
in a good position. You just play basketball. So that's a great thing too. But let
Yeah.
me take this back. Let me take this back a little bit. You had mentioned,
Can I touch on something real quick?
yeah,
When
go ahead.
you
Go
was
ahead.
talking about kids and the confidence, I think it. I think the confidence. Um, Sometimes confidence is, you can be born with it, but until you really get tested and you really play against high level competition, and you really play against dudes that are like college level, you really never know how good you are. And because I played against those kind of guys growing up, all throughout my teens and even to my 20s, having played against that, I knew, like, okay, I can stand my ground. These guys are talented. Yeah, they are better than me, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna get mine, and that doesn't mean I'm not gonna shine. You know?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I truly believe in it. Hopefully, young kids that watch this
They,
podcast, I hope that,
I,
them, by them listening to you, gives them a little bit of little courage and confidence too,
yeah,
heading to any type of sports.
yeah. I would just say don't back down from competition. If you're beating the dudes that you're playing, then you need to go find the dudes that'll beat you. That's how you're gonna get better.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's a good point,
Yeah.
man. Now let me take this back. You mentioned you went to school where Magic Johnson went to high school. Explain a little bit about that, man. I mean, you
Hey,
went to
so
school with
I
a
went. I went to his elementary, Pleasant View Elementary. I went to Dwight Rich Middle School. That's his middle school. I went to his high school, Everett High School, and I went to his college, Michigan State University.
yeah, yeah. I mean, how was it like going to school where Magic Johnson went to school? I mean, this
It
guy's
was,
a Hall of Famer.
it was it's kind of nostalgic because you're kind of walking and you see the trophies he's won over the years, the state championship, and the aura around it. And they actually named the gym after him. They
Okay,
renamed the
okay,
gym. Um, and So again, it was even more special because his uncle um, actually coached me, you
right,
know,
right.
and he actually took me to meet Magic.
Okay,
Um, he actually took me to meet Magic, and I think I'll share that photo with you,
I
so you
think you
can
sent that photo to me, and I'm
yeah.
gonna I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna edit it onto this podcast once I start the editing for this. But yeah, I mean, I saw that picture, man.
Yeah, so
That
so
guy
Coach
is.
Porter, hey man, his arms is like bigger than my legs,
I was
man.
just about to say. I mean, this guy, Magic Johnson. I mean, I thought you was tall. I mean, but Magic Johnson.
I
You
only
know,
I only got up to his shoulder, man. He's like six
yeah.
nine.
Now, how tall was you when you was playing basketball in high school? Did you grow anymore after that?
No, I kind of peaked out at my freshman year. I was like 5, 9.5, 10, and I maybe grew another half inch throughout, sophomore to senior. But I finished out at about 5'10", 5'10"
Okay,
and a half.
okay.
Yeah.
So now you are varsity. You're playing varsity basketball.
Hmm.
And you mentioned you guys had a very talented team. Did you guys
Yeah.
make the playoff? Did you guys make district? How far did you guys
We
go?
we we lost in district to my senior year. We were 12-2, and we beat one of our losses to the number 3 team in the state, Battle Creek Central. They had Mr. Basketball. His name was Kenyon Murray,
Okay.
and they had a tall point guard. His name was Dave Hart. He actually went to play at Michigan State, 6'4". That was my assignment. I was guarding
Okay.
the 6'4" point guard. But during regular season, we beat them once. They beat us once, and then we met in district finals, and we were actually up 5 points on the number 3 team with 2 minutes to go, man. And um, my coach is like, Cheng, call a timeout. So I crossed the half, called the timeout. gave the ref the ball, and we come out of timeout, man. A ref gives the Battle Creek Central the ball.
What?
Yeah, my coach and my varsity coach, I've never seen him get a technical. But during this incident, man, he was fuming. He was screaming. And the funny thing is his brother is actually the assistant coach for the Battle Creek Central.
Oh
So
no.
my high school coach, Johnny Jones, he lost his composure, man. He got a technical. They shoot the technical and bank a three in. So now our 5-point lead is a 2. And then my teammates, man, they just like lost their head, man. They
Yeah.
couldn't play.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's
They
frustration.
were going through the motion, but they just couldn't believe we got jive like that. And I actually talked to the ref. I was like, ref, come on, ref. I'm the only Asian dude up in here, man. I just handed you the ball, you know.
Right, right.
My
Can't get
dad,
any honest than that.
I was like, my dad's recording the game.
Oh man, that had to be a heartbreaker for all you guys, man.
Yeah.
I
And I'll be
mean,
honest.
oh,
Even though my dad had that tape, I never went back to watch that game.
I was just about to ask you because, you know, that's like a horror film that gone bad, man. I mean,
Yeah, that I never went back to watch that game because in my heart, we should have won that game. And I was like the only one really playing with their head on straight. I made a steal, and they were up with like 5 with like a minute to go. I made a steal and a running layup, but then they ended up winning by like 4 or 5 points, man. But bro, had we got past Central, ain't no telling, man. We definitely could have won states.
wait, so you guys, so if you guys would have went past them, who was the high school you guys would have faced?
We probably would have played like Persian,
Okay,
Detroit Persian.
okay,
So
okay. Yeah,
they had
they
some
got some
ballers
good
back then.
program. They got some good programmers, some good
Oh yeah,
ballers in Detroit too.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, oh man, that's definitely a heartbreaker. That's not a good way to go out as a senior.
It wasn't, man. In my year, I had 2 guys averaging 20 and 22. I had 2 brothers that should have played. They were like talented enough to play D1, D2.
Okay.
They were averaging 20 and 22.
So did any of your teammates get any offers to a D1, D2 school or any division college?
Uh, One of them was getting looked at by Ball State. One of them, again, they had academic issues.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
I actually got a couple small letters from like Lake Superior College and a small Christian school up north.
okay.
You know, they're kind of interested, but at the same time, I was like, nah, my b-ball career is done. It's all about academics now.
Right,
You know.
right. Okay, so now that we talk about, that talk about academics and you had your two colleges that looked at you, what made you decide that you would take your education to MSU? And I know you not just a a fan, you became a college student there.
Yeah, I think, well, when I was in high school, we were involved with a minority academic program called Upward Bound. And
Yep, heard of that.
so they help, get you transition from high school to college, as a minority student. And I had connections. And I'll be honest, man, I didn't apply to Michigan State. I didn't apply to Michigan State. I had my parents wanted me to actually go to GMI, which is General Motors Institute at the time.
Okay, okay.
And I was like, nah, I'll just go to the local community college, LCC, and then see what I want to study. But my parents are like, nah, you need to push yourself. And it's a week into school already.
Yeah, okay.
It's a week into school, and I hadn't even applied at Michigan State. And so my parents are like pretty upset. And so I had some connections because the director of Upper Bound, she's on campus. Her name is Sandra, and she got with admissions and made a few calls. I fill out the form, take my entrance exam, and a week later, man, I'm enrolled, man, which
And
is kind of
just like
crazy.
that, huh? Just like that, you got
Yeah, man,
enrolled.
I went from planning on going to LCC to a week later. I'm a week behind, but I'm at Michigan State University campus.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of having connection, man. I tell you, whether it's for school or job or it doesn't matter. I think
It is,
everything's
but
all.
it is about a connection, but also, at the same time, they gotta believe in you, right? Your
Oh
connection,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
absolutely.
because they don't jump through hoops, right? I mean, Sandra's calling. Miss Chavez, she's like the daughter of the one of the great Chavez, who was like all about affirmative action and stuff. So I mean, she's making these calls, and I actually go meet with Miss Chavez because she's trying to gauge, like, okay, how interested are you actually in coming to Michigan State? Because
Yeah,
it's a week, and I got to jump through hoops to get you in.
yeah, yeah.
So I
So
remember
now,
that
so
meeting,
now, so
man.
now you're attending MSU. Okay,
Yeah.
you're attending MSU now. Now I heard a lot of stories. I mean, particularly you tell me stories too. So, and I love hearing these stories from you. But why don't you tell our audience, man? I mean, you tried out for Michigan State's
Yeah,
basketball
yep.
team.
I tried to walk on at Michigan State University. They should have open gym, and this is when like Eric Snow, Sean Respert,
Yep, yep.
um, I forget Matt Wazinski, sharpshooter. He could never really hit in the game, but he could shoot. I saw this. I saw this kid shoot from half court like Steph Curry way back then
Hmm.
during practice. So they would have open gym, so you can go play if you just knew who to get in touch with. And so I found out through one of the guys at the IMs that they had open gym, and you can just go and sign up and go run. And so I got to play with them a little bit. Um, it was okay. I just didn't enjoy it because they kind of like they don't take you serious.
Yeah.
They just out there kind of half-assing, and um, they're not really respecting you. And my one regret during open gym is that I didn't try to poke one on Eric Snow because I was on a fast break and I had my chance, but I thought he was going to undercut me. And man, I was up and I was like, man, I should try to just dunk on him, but I was like, hey, he might take my legs out. So
Hold
I
that thought.
bailed out
Hold,
of it.
hold that thought for a second, Chang.
Yeah.
Man, for a lot of you guys who don't know, this guy Chang is the first Hmong person that I ever seen that can dunk. Let me tell you guys. Let me just tell you guys this quick story real quick and hold that thought, Chang. We're gonna go back
All
to
right. Yeah. Yeah.
when I first saw you and your brothers and all you guys who came to the tournament in Pontiac. And you may not remember this, but I remember this because this was the first one. This is how I was like, okay, who is this guy? You guys was playing one of my cousin's team. I think you guys are probably about the same age. I don't remember what the name of
The
that team you
Hangs.
guys played.
You talking about Roseville, the Hang Boys?
No, no, no. I think it was they were kind of like a put together team. They were just like a
Okay.
put
Okay.
together team in a tournament. And you guys was playing. The game was probably early. I think it wasn't even the first half yet. And for some reason the ball was shot up, and one of your teammates inbounded the ball and threw an outlet to you. So the guy who shot the ball, I believe he was backpedaling back to defense. And you get the ball at half court and an outlet pass. And it was just you and him. And you just said full out, just sprinted with the basketball down the court. And you just went up. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is about to boom the ball. I ain't never seen a Hmong guy boom a ball before. Now, let me tell you, the guy who was playing defense actually challenged you. So he went up. Now, he didn't go up as high as you did, but he challenged you physically. You missed the dunk. You missed the dunk. But that wasn't the point. The point was, I was like, wait a minute. This guy cannot be this guy can't dunk. No way. And then later on in the tournament, as it got further and further into a tournament, you had a couple of breakaways and you dunked the ball. And I was like, whoa, this guy can dunk. So hey, people,
Hey,
he may, and I could be wrong. I may be wrong. And comment down below, guys, if you guys knew somebody in the neck of your neighborhood that was Hmong that boom. But this guy, I want to say from the 90s, this is the first Hmong guy that ever dunked the ball, and I saw with my own eyes. And that wasn't the last time. So, anyways, so go back to the part that you should have boomed on Eric Snow.
Yeah, man. I was I was just trying to, have a test my skills against some of the, college players, D1 players, just to see like how good are they. They weren't really taking it serious, kind of fooling around, kind of like pulling at your shirt and things like that. And then I get a steal and on a breakaway, man. I was like, I get up and I was like, man, should I just try to throw this down on Eric? And then, but then he came up underneath me, you know, and I was like, ooh, no, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
And I just laid it up, But man, damn, I should have just tried it anyways, man. But even if I'd have got hurt,
Yeah, well, I always say it this way, man. When you get an opportunity, especially you're showing right in front of the coaches, you know, me personally, as young as you was, man, you should have just boomed on. You should have just
I
boomed on him.
I got 30 years. I got 30 years to heal that broken leg, man.
Yeah, because you
No,
know
actually,
what?
actually, at that time, Judd Heathcote was there and Tom Izzo, because that was the year. That was like Judd's last year, and Izzo was about to transition. So yeah, they were
Okay,
sitting
okay.
courtside, sideline, whatever.
Now how far? Now how far did you get into it? Because I know you said open gym, but so
Oh yeah, yeah. So the next, so I met a dude named Chris playing IM ball. He's pretty talented. I thought he was pretty talented, and I was like, "Yo, they got open gym. They got tryouts next week, man. Walk on tryouts. You want to go with me?" He's like, "Nah, man." He's like, "Man, I tried last year, man. It ain't it ain't what it's cracked up to be." I said, "Well, what are you talking about, Chris?" He's like, "Well, it's just a formality for them, man. They really ain't looking to have nobody. They
yeah,
just do it to do it." But he's like, "But go ahead and just go and for the experience, So my girlfriend was me there, my wife, who's my wife now, Kim, and it was actually finals week, and so I go. There's like 55 dudes, man,
oh wow, okay, okay.
55 dudes. Oh, the 55, there was probably should have been only seven of us there, including me. The other like 46, they just scrubs, man. And Tom, this was Izzo. This was when they just got the new court. So Tom Izzo was like, "Yeah, you guys are like some of the first people to play on it. So it's a good opportunity. It's a special moment." And there was one standout dude that actually tried out that I thought should have made the team. Um, but the tryout was kind of a joke in the sense of it was like 2 minute, um, 2 minute scrimmages with seven dudes on your team. 2 minute scrimmages. So after 2 minutes, boom, one team come out.
Okay, okay.
2 minutes, another team come out. Dude, I think I hit the court 4 times. Out of them 4 times, I didn't even shoot the rock once.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was like I give the ball up, and there was a four scrubs and a gun on my team. And when it wasn't my time, I go sit next to my girl, and she's like, "You don't look like you're having a good time." I was like, "Really? I'm really, I'm not really having a good time right now.
yeah.
My time is better off studying for my finals right now,
Yeah. Right.
truthfully.
Right.
But I'm here, and but it was an experience, but I was definitely disappointed in the formality and just how they go about it. Because it's like, how can you see the skills of a player, how well they shoot, their b-ball IQ, or their can they shoot free throws, their dribbling, right? You really can't see that in a 2 minute scrimmage.
Yeah. I mean, to them it was just like, okay, we just want to pick up basketball game with all these guys, and they're gonna try to eliminate everybody, right? But like you said, the formality of it. Who knows if they was gonna even add any extra players to the roster, right?
Yeah,
Because what
exactly.
are we talking about? What's the actual number of roster for college, anyways?
I think there's about 15.
15.
There's about 15, but like I said, there was one guy who I thought should have made the team because that year we weren't that strong. The Battle Creek Central guard was on the team at the time, and I would talk to him. I actually would see him on campus,
Okay.
and we would talk. And he really wasn't having a great experience either. But he's there on scholarship.
Yeah. So how far did you go with this? I mean, was this just a one time thing?
It was just a one time thing for me because once I saw that, um, like even during the open gym, there's a dude that someone was like, yeah, this dude comes, he's been here for the last 3 years. Every year because he's trying to walk on, but he's there every year during open gym. And then someone was kind of hinting like, sometimes it's about connections, who you know, and this and that, especially from a walk on per se, right?
Yeah.
So it is that's when I was kind of like really frowning on university athletics because I just thought it was just too much politics about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, you're correct, man. I think we were watching sports throughout our years, and you hear about walk-ons that get on to the team, whether it's football, basketball. I think it takes a lot to be a walk-on the team. I mean, you might have to even have a little connection to really get
but
in on the team.
but but I'm whether the coaches saw it or not, I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like I was better than half that team those 2 3 years
Yeah.
from a skill. I may not have been 6'2", 6'3", but skill wise, I was better than half that team. I promise.
Well, let's add. Let me ask you this. Now that you brought that up,
Mhm.
between you and Eric Snow, who's better?
Man,
Hey, I don't know
I
if Eric
I
Snow
could
is gonna
I could
see
shoot
this,
I could
but
shoot
go
I could
ahead,
shoot
man.
better. I'll be honest. I could beat Eric Snow in the free throw contest using my offhand.
Oh, hey man, what if you would have been in the NBA playing on the 76ers next to Allen Iverson, man? Can you imagine that?
That'd been wild, man.
Hey,
That would have
hey.
been wild.
Well, you know what? Big props to Eric Snow too, man. He did make it to the big league.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
for
know,
sure. I mean, you gotta have a niche, right? If you ain't gonna be a superstar, you gotta be a role player, have a niche. So he had grit. He was muscular, strong, fast. Didn't have handles, but he could push the rock. You know.
right, right, right. Okay, so let me ask you this, man. What kind of influence did you have, to become a basketball player?
Well, again, the environment I grew up in, the coachings, um, all my friends play ball. I mean, we used to love ball so much, man. In the wintertime, we would go and shovel the court and use a soccer ball and play in the middle of winter, man.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it
That's
all right
how
there.
that's how much we love basketball, man. And when I was only like 13, me and my friends, that's what we would do.
Now you mentioned, and I'm kind of going backwards a little bit here. You
Okay.
mentioned Magic Johnson's uncle, who coached you.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about how Magic Johnson's uncle
Okay.
impacted your
Yeah,
basketball.
he. So if you know Magic, his uncle was like a shorter version of him
Okay.
from the way he talked, from the way he dribbled, the way he. If you saw him from a distance, you'd be like, "That's Magic Johnson." It's not. It's his uncle.
Okay.
Even his uncle would even have tape on his finger, man. Like
Yeah.
the whole that whole vibe that Magic did, I could see. So when he took us to go meet Magic at it was a game the Lakers played the Pistons. So he took me and the other guard to go meet Magic. We're standing there waiting, right? All the LA players go in. This is when like Cooper, and Bart Bryant, and Kareem, Rambis, all of them, right? And so we're walking by all these NBA superstars, all stars,
Yeah.
like legends. But the only thing on my mind is I want to go see Magic.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
I'm walking by Kareem, Cooper,
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
hey,
All these
hi.
Hall of
I'm
Famers.
saying hi to uh, you know, these Hall of Famers, but my mind is I'm here to see Magic. And so uh, got to see Magic, and so my coach is like, when you see Magic, ask him who taught him all his fundamentals on how to play ball, right? So we get up to Magic, have a brief conversation. He autographed my shoe. He was actually with a Converse deal at the time, but I had a pair of Nikes,
Okay.
and he
Okay.
actually signed them still. But I was like, hey, Magic. So Coach Porter asked, wanted to ask you who taught you all your fundamentals growing up, and he was just Magic was just like
Just pointed at him.
Magic's like Coach Porter, man. So but my coach growing up, what he really instilled in me was if someone has a better shot, give the ball up. No matter how open you are, if somebody's close to the basket, give the ball up. Make that extra pass. And so that is what that's where I've had my playmaking ability and just being a playmaker from is from Magic's uncle.
Okay. Okay.
Because he would play pickup with us during practice. I mean, he played just like Magic. You know.
Was he pretty competitive too when he's not coaching you
Oh
guys?
yeah, yeah. He was like what? He was about 40. He was about 45, 50 at the time when he was coaching.
Oh,
Oh, but he's
okay.
out there. He's got the Laker gear on from head to toe, man. The weapons. I don't know if you remember the weapons, the Converse weapons.
No, I don't
They
remember
like
those.
if you look up the Converse weapons, he had them all, man. And he'd come in there with his LA Lakers championship blazers, windbreakers on, man, and hats. And I was just like, dang, you know, he's so close to all that greatness.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, hey, look at Magic, man. If he was really training Magic and Magic was as good as he is, and we know he is, and he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
Believing is achieving, man. So big ups to him, and I'm glad. It's good to know that we have somebody like you that was coached by greatness, man. I truly believe that. I really acknowledge that a lot, man. But let's keep going.
Yeah.
What playing basketball, man. What was some of the biggest accomplishments that you had growing up playing basketball to where you are today?
I think I feel like obviously winning trophies and stuff is nice, but I think just really growing the sport in our Hmong community, um, and just bonding with players, from generations, um, and just I think just maybe being the spark of it a little bit, right? At least from a Michigan per se, with the Hmong community, just really getting kids to have that urge to want to play basketball and believing that they could. Um, so if I was that spark, that'd be great. Accomplishments again, winning tournaments is great, but at the end of the day, um, there's also a brotherhood uh, when it comes to the game. Meeting other players from different states, keeping the connections, like
Yeah.
yourself, right? I mean, we've known each other for like over 25, 30
Oh yeah.
years.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Um, so that to me, that's what the sport is also brought is just camaraderie and friendship.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I truly believe that, man. I think when we're athletes at one point of our lives, I think some of the things that we kind of forget is, it brings so much it brings a lot of energy and it builds a good relationship with everybody. And I think that's like you said, winning trophies is great, but I think behind it is building relationship and talking
I
about
agree.
the
I
things that
agree.
you done. I think that's like the most important thing that you can always share and talk to people about.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll be honest. In the early stages, it's all about winning, right? It's all about winning the tournament, winning the trophy. Um, but after years, or after 3 or 4 years, you start like, okay? That's another year, another trophy. But what's next, right? You know, how can we grow the game? How can we, you know, that's where I realized, well, we hear there are other good Asian teams out west. Well, let's go play them, right? If we're good here in the Midwest, are we good enough to beat the guys out west or out east in Syracuse? And so that's when we started really trying to travel um, to really test like our skill and just how good we were.
Now, now, you guys played in a lot of tournaments. It, it was you guys played in a lot of Hmong tournaments, a lot of Asian tournaments. You guys played in a lot of. We was talking about Gus Macker the other day,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
American, yeah,
Um,
3-on-3, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So, you know, what was it like to, like playing basketball in high school, like, um, organized basketball high school, and playing in like tournaments. You're playing in tournaments. You're playing against
Yeah,
people
I
you
mean,
never played against before. How
yeah,
is
no,
that
I
like, man? Just give me a run through of how is
my
that like.
my organized ball is a little different, um, because everybody's trying to play their role. Um, but sometimes, street ball is I enjoy it more because it's a free flowing game, right? Yeah, you have set plays, but it's more of like, hey, get the ball, go, do your move. If you beat them, you got them. If not, pass the rock. Um, excuse me. And even in high school though, my coach always told me, he's like, Chang, you got the green light. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm glad you give me the green light, but I still got to be a point guard. I can't come down. I got two dudes averaging over 20 points.
Yeah,
I still got to be a point guard, you
right.
know. But it's good to know my coach had my back, because he seeing me through the 4 years from freshman to varsity, he understood my skill and my talent. So it was good to know that he still he had my back, and he didn't care if and when I took it to the cup, or took a shot. Um, but the bad thing about playing in high school was I didn't have contacts, so
Okay.
I could really couldn't see the rim.
So you was
You
wearing
know,
glasses
I wore glasses in
in the middle of a
since
game.
no, I took them off before the game.
Oh, okay.
So I
Okay.
was playing kind of like half blind, so I could rarely see the rim from beyond 3 point line. I would always take my glasses off like an hour before the game, and it would help my depth to where I could see the rim
Yeah. Yeah.
and be able to attempt a three. But I could never, all throughout high school, I could never see the rim really clear because we couldn't afford
You know
contacts.
what?
But
I never even noticed that one bit when I saw you at the tournament. It just seemed
yeah,
like you didn't need glasses.
yeah, man. It wasn't until maybe I graduated in '92, so it wasn't until like '93, '95, maybe '94, '95 when I finally got contacts.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably when contacts finally came out, right? Am I right or wrong?
No, they went out. It's just growing up.
Mhm.
We less. Unfortunately, my parents they couldn't. It was already like $150 for a pair of shoes.
Right.
To play high school ball. So
Well, now you brought about now you brought that up. Did you have any favorite sneakers? Before you like, all right, before I play this game, I gotta have these sneakers, or
yeah,
some of these sneakers are the best sneakers. I
my
have to wear
best
these.
my air yeah in freshman in my like early years middle school to freshman sophomore year, it was the Air Force Air Flights.
Okay.
Those were the sneakers. But then um the sneakers that I really liked the ball in was the AJ 11s, the patent leather ones,
Yeah.
the Carolina blue or the Concords. Those are the best, man, for me.
Man, you mean to tell me you don't have those shoes no more?
I still have they rip, man, because I've gone through like 3 or 4 pair, man, because I dog them out, man, just how
Yeah.
hard I play and cut,
Right.
you know. So I've gone to about 3 or 4. I still got a couple, but they just right now they just collecting dust.
I was gonna say, is it just for style now? What?
Yeah, I don't even wear them, man. I actually gave a pair of them away to my neighbor, man. He's into sneakers, and so I was just like, hey, here's some. I got some AJ 2s, man. If you want them, here, take them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talking about your accomplishment, man. We always gotta throw in some of the failures, man. What did you have any failures growing up that kind of put you in a different direction? Like, dang, I need to give up, or no, should I just keep going? So any failures that you want to be able to share with us?
Um. Well, obviously, I think when we lost that district game in my high school year, um, that really put a damper on me mentally, man. Because I felt like we should have had that game, and we had a great team that year, and we could have went pretty far. So I remember after the season, man, I was really down, and I was my coach's wife. She could sense it, you know. It's kind of like end of the season, and then obviously she was like, "Chang, you all right?" And I was like, "Man, I wish I could I told her, I said, I wish I could replay my senior year all over again
Hmm.
because I just felt like I could have did a lot more, you know. And she looked at me, and bro, man, when she said this, it lifted everything off my shoulder.
Yeah,
It just freed me from all the anxiety and how bad I felt because I felt like a loser, right, a failure at that point. And she was like, "Jang, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody. You know, you gonna graduate, you gonna go to college, you gonna get a degree, you gonna get married, have kids. You're gonna have a great life, Chang."
yeah,
And when
yeah,
she said that, I just thanked her,
yeah,
for kind of helping me through that tough moment.
yeah. So
Um,
when you have a time like that, now that you think about it, like 20 years later, also at the same time, it happens for a reason. I think I really do. I truly believe that when something that like that happens and it turns around and then as athletes, nobody knows it any better than yourself, right? Because handing the ball to the ref and then coming back from a timeout and then you don't get the ball, it's like whoa, and
oh
then
yeah,
and then
yeah,
after the game you lose, it's like, I mean, how can I live to talk about this, and like you say, you don't even want to watch the tape because you
yeah,
feel
man.
so you feel so bad. You feel like, I mean, you probably feel like you let the team down, right?
Yeah, well, and at the same time, I just felt like we got cheated, and so
Yeah, that's the
that's a
best way to
game
put
that
it.
that's a game that I rarely even want to think about and talk about. But unfortunately, that's what helped build you, as a
Yeah, I
character.
mean, it made you a better player, made you a better person,
Hmm.
and then it kept you on the right track. And now look at you today. You're successful in your own ways. You got a family and stuff like that. So, I mean, her words for you. I
Yeah.
mean, it's mind blowing. So it's a great thing, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll. Hey, you remember when Jeremy Lin came on the scene?
Yeah, yeah.
I had a bunch of my boys from the hood call me, man. They were like, yo, you see that dude, Jeremy Lin? I said, yeah, he's balling. They're like, yo, man, he stole your shine, Chain. That should have been you, Chain. They're like, yo, man, you was Lin, going Lin, man. I said, yo, man. I said, let that Asian dude get his shine, man. I had my
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. I mean, he's a good player himself, and he's done some magnificent things. While
Oh yeah.
when he was with the Knicks. So, but you also did too, man. I wanna take this to another level, man.
Okay. Yep.
Um, you not just only play basketball, but you was a big impact to our generation growing up, because everybody, me and Bob and Tony and John, all of us,
Yep.
we really looked up to you, man. I feel like you've been a huge impact to the community, to us, man. Is there anything that you can say so these young generation today can understand, like, the positivity
Yeah.
behind it? What kind of negative things
I
you can take and turn
um
into a positive thing?
I think I think what a lot of not just kids in the past, but kids in the future, they need is somebody to kind of mentor them. Not to be like their coach and tell them like you should do this, you should do that, but just to be a friend. Because I remember when I was working in Pontiac and John and Bob, they would go ball at the
Oak
court.
Park, Oak Park, Oak
Yeah,
Park.
and I would come out
Yeah,
and I would
I
come out and
remember
ball
that.
with them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like 9 years younger than me, but
yeah,
I was like, hey, y'all like the ball? Okay, I'll be out there, man. And it's just playing pickball, having fun, and um, just being a little older. Hopefully, they would they would see that, okay, this dude goes to work and he comes and spends some time with us, playing the sport we enjoy. He plays in the tournaments, we want to beat them someday. And I think just that brotherhood, fellowship, and mentoring, um, is something that kids need a lot these days. And so I'm really big on like parks and recreation.
Okay.
When I was before I went to college, I actually worked 2 summers for Lansing Parks and Recreation,
Okay. Okay.
and so volunteering my summer with to the community. They actually put me in an Asian community, hoping I could speak the same language. It turned out to be the Hmong community.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I got to mentor my cousins, other Hmong kids in the community. They'd come to the park, they'd come to the center, and it's great, man. Trying to help young kids have aspirations. Um, Something that I really wanted to do during that time, which didn't happen, and I was kind of disappointed about, was I wanted to take a school field trip. I wanted to take all the kids because I was about to attend Michigan State University,
Yeah.
but I had been in a minority program, so I knew that campus like inside out. And so I wanted to get permission to take all these Hmong kids and black kids. They're just like 5, 6, 8 years old. I wanted to take them on a field trip to go visit the university,
Yeah.
to give them a goal like, hey, maybe I can come to school here someday, because unfortunately, education wasn't on a lot of parents' radar as being first priority. And I think, and that's fine, but I think if you could plant the seed in the young kids to really think about their future, not just, academically, I mean, then, that inner drive is something that's hard to stop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, and I think that's a great point that you made because, like you said, a lot of these kids today, they don't have a mentor. And for me personally, I try to be a mentor to a lot of young kids or even young adults, right? Because
Hmm.
you know, and thankfully, we don't have as much um trouble like we used to have back in the early 90s where we had a lot of game banging and all that kind of stuff today.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
today it's a lot better, 10 times better, right? So we just try to mentor these kids and try to put them in the right path. That's why I still do what I do today. And I take a lot of, that's why I say, guys like you we look up to because we're able to do the same thing. We didn't really have anybody that was able to give us that kind of feedback. Now for you it was a little different, right? Because you grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, so you hooped a lot. And I think one thing that motivated you was you wanted to be not just an athlete, but you want to be you just want to be respected. Like you just want to be
Yeah, I wanted
one
to
of
be a
them,
good baller.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times they get in the conversation of like, oh, he's the best Hmong baller, he's the best Asian baller, he's the best, and I just be like, man, I don't want to be viewed as that. I just want to be
Hmm.
viewed as a great baller,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I feel like my skill is good enough to beat black, Asian, white. It doesn't matter. So sometimes they kind of corner that debate, gets into that discussion, but I just feel like I'm a great baller, whether I'm Hmong or black or white.
Absolutely, man. Well, let me ask you this, man. Throughout all your career playing basketball competitively, there's got to be at least one guy out there that gave you the toughest matchup. There's got to be one. It could be anybody. You got anybody in mind that they gave you the toughest matchup?
Yeah, he's the reason I started shooting left hand. Actually, there's a guy named he played for East Lansing High School.
Okay.
His name is Ray Mitchell. He's a point guard. He could shoot either hand in the game. Like it's like he could just switch shoot no matter what. So I played against him my sophomore year, and I was like, because I always viewed myself as a great defender. Like yeah, I could score, but I also was like I viewed myself as a lockdown defender. And I remember sophomore year, first year I played against him, man, that kid dropped 22 points, man. And
Okay. Okay.
I was like, man, this dude could ball, man. So between my sophomore year and junior year, I broke my right wrist playing soccer.
Okay. Okay.
So guess what I did that whole summer?
Practice on your opposite hand. Yeah.
Practice my left hand. And so by junior year, I was able to shoot like left hand 3 pointers. And so that's when I was like, man, even though I feel like I'm good, no, not after not after I saw the guy Ray. I was like, man, Ray can shoot both hands. Man, I need to work on both of my hands
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Shoot.
So
So he was
he gave
probably
you a different perspective,
yeah,
and
he was like he had handles like AI and could shoot. He could shoot the three. He could penetrate. So I mean, there ain't no you got to guard him every minute.
yeah, yeah, man, that's great, man. I mean, things like this, we can't take away. Uh, physically being challenged like that, yeah, you definitely got to do something to make yourself better. Next time you see him, you at least give him a good matchup, right? And I think that's what you did. So, you know, it's great, man. It's great talking to you, Chang, man. I think
Oh yeah, for sure,
we
man.
could probably talk about this. We got you share
I know.
so you share so much story with me. I think this might have to be like 2 or 3 segment,
Hey,
but
I'm always open to if you want to have another segment about something different,
oh yeah, absolutely, man. We talk about we talked about just to recap, we talk about your childhood, how you got into basketball, things like that. But I definitely want to get back with you again for a second segment later in the future, and I want to talk to you about tournaments. I want to talk to you about like basketball tournaments. I want to talk
Okay,
to you
okay,
about how it impacted you. So save that because we're gonna talk that for another time. We're gonna save that
okay,
for another time
for
because
sure, for sure.
I want to hear your thoughts about uh tournaments from the 90s and your view on today because we actually met in J4 like 4 years ago
Yeah, yeah,
and we're all from the same hometown and we end up meeting each other in the playoffs. So
yeah,
we got a little chance to play each other, or at least my guys that I coach got a chance to play
yeah,
you guys. But let's save that for another segment
yeah.
because
We
it's
say
gonna be
that.
great. And for all the people that's watching, hey, it ain't over yet. I'm gonna bring Chain back onto the show uh later here in the future. We're gonna talk about Hmong tournament. We're talking about Asian tournaments that
Yep.
he's been involved in, and we're gonna have him explain a little bit of some of the excitement that he's been through. Because Chain, for some of y'all who don't know, he's been all over this country. He's been from east to the west playing tournament. He's been out south. He's been to New York, and that's not even the end of it. So, Chang, you hold that thought, man. And
Yeah. Next time I'll tell you about when we went to ball in Long Beach against TLC.
okay, okay. Wait, so y'all went to okay? So just a little inside scoop for everybody, but don't talk too much about it, okay? Don't talk too much. Long Beach, as in like the Long Beach basketball course, or just Long Beach as a city?
Long Beach City. We went to play in the tournament
Okay, okay.
in Long Beach.
Okay, that's just a little small scoop for you guys, man. You guys get no more, okay, guys. So if
Hey,
y'all want to hear, y'all gotta stay tuned for the next episode, okay?
for sure, for sure. Real quick, man, I want to give a plug out to my boy Dez. This is sports gear Moneyball. And I'm rocking maize and blue, but this ain't Michigan, okay? This is
Come
Draymond
on,
Green
man.
shirt. Draymond Green. This so my boy Dez, man, he got Moneyball sportswear clothing line. Started. I've known Dez since Boys and Girls Club days, man. And
Okay, okay. Hey,
and
well, so anybody who's interested, think that y'all like a pair, y'all interested, hit up Chang. Chang, do you have any social media platform that anybody who's interested, or maybe even just want to talk to you about basketball in general? You got
I'm only on Facebook, man. I don't really do Instagram and Twitter, none of that. So you know, maybe I'll give you my Facebook page, and if you want to post it, and if somebody
okay.
wants to send me a message, it'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, we do that, man. I'll go ahead and post up Chang's Facebook page, man. Anybody who's interested in some of the apparels that he just showed, uh, hey,
Yeah,
help the
it's my
brother out.
boys. You know, he got his own website, man. I
He-
just, you know, it's hometown made, so I support it. You know, from Lansing.
okay, so he's
So
from Lansing. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool, man. I might have to give myself a pair of shirts too. But hey, you gotta
he
tell
do
him, man.
jerseys and all kind of
Hey,
stuff,
hey,
man.
I need a 5XL. I ain't saying, but I need a 5XL. So you tell
He
him
can
he
get
needs
it
to make a
custom.
5XL, man, if he wants me to support
I'm
it.
sure he can get that done, man.
Okay. But hey, Chain, like I told you, man, we could talk about this all
I
night
know,
long,
man.
but
I
we're
know
gonna have to break
when you
this
were
up.
I know when you were saying, man, 1 hour. I was like, bro, man, we're gonna have to do like a couple segments.
Hey, no, man, this is part of the podcast, man. I really
Yep,
enjoy it. Chang, man, I hope you take care of yourself. Hope the family's doing well, man. Say hi to the wife, the kids,
yep.
and stuff like that, man. And we definitely could get in touch with each other again, and we're gonna do this again. And yeah, man, thanks for being on my podcast, man. This is my first podcast ever, and my boy Chang, man, he jumped on it with me, man. I really appreciate it, man. Nothing but love.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
So,
send you a Rebels jersey, man, so you can put it in the background there,
oh yeah, man, for sure.
man.
You know what? No, I still have your signed T-shirt that you gave me.
You still got that one from
Yeah, it's
that's
folded.
like
I still
20.
have it.
It's
I
like 20
look,
years ago, man.
oh man, I still have it. It's signed. I never threw it
Okay.
away. Uh, I know I put it in a box. If not in a box, it's definitely in my T-shirt drawer. So,
Yeah, man. That
yeah.
was the day I thought I was done. Remember, I pulled my I broke both my meniscus, man. I thought I was done for good.
Nah, man. Nah, guys like you, man, you ain't never gonna be done. I won't even be surprised. Like you said, you're gonna be playing in a 50-year-old league. So it ain't over for you, man. It ain't over for you.
All
Yeah,
right, B. Hey, man, appreciate it again, and let's do it again soon, man.
yeah, for sure, for
Anytime you
sure.
need, man.
Hey, much love, man. Again, guys, Chang Yang in the house. Thanks for being on my show, man. I really appreciate it, man. Until next time, Chang. Peace out, brother.
Yep. Peace out. Appreciate it.